Latin American Studies, My Concepts by Christopher Perez. Overview. The key concept I will be talking about related to Latin American studies is identity, inequality, religion, politics, economy, and transnationalism. Identity is a great concept of Latin American studies because it's been seen through history in its vast amount of diversity by influences like indigenous, European, and African. And in our first lecture, they explained how there was a drastic change in identity when Portugal's king family came to Brazil after the invasion of Napoleon Portugal, and how these new rules shaped Brazil. Slavery was implemented drastically. This influence has affected the identity of Brazilian lives and has influenced many choices of ruling. The reason I showed this example is to show how identity has been given through history by power. It comes from distant land to foster their ideas and make inference and learning a drastic change for the country. Inequality. The concept shows that deep roots of history in these countries and how their rule brought and was seen as like a rightful thing. In history, the slavery that was brought from these European countries from African made inequality and racism by very prominent and was very prominent in these countries. After the abolishment of slavery in their own right, it wasn't stopped there and continued an injustice to those who were of a specific race or color, which changed future for many Latin Americans in Brazil and many drastic countries full of slavery, which has been through history in many ways. Religion is a key concept as well. Some of these ways was religious practice and its strict ruling. Catholic religion is a great example of these influences that characterized and shaped many countries. The power this thought made indigenous people be forced into thinking they didn't believe and made anyone who didn't practice it do it by force. There was no freedom of religion in these countries, and it's shown prominently to this day. The influence of these conquests made the religion aspect stay as a Catholic staple. Politics. I would say the most important concept, politics played a very powerful role in these countries, and the power that came with these rules drastically changed the history of many countries in all Latin America. Influence of government. The idea of injustice was sought out to leave all those who weren't a specific race out of the place role or idea. This concept shaped the way things flowed in a country and has since then. Economy. Stance in this country was always benefiting foreign powers or elites, and ties into inequality by implementation of wealth gaps and low income options for people of specific groups, which would result in very low economic state for a country situated in Latin America. These impacted politics as well by allowing only the higher classes, which were not colored folks, to have greater wealth lifestyles. Transnationalism. All those concepts have led to this idea of leaving homeland to immigrate to a place that will give you more opportunity or chance to get away from the inequality or politics and be able to provide for your family. And this concept is seen now in history in many different Latin countries. In conclusion, all these concepts relate to history of Latin America by the colonists bringing their own ideas and religion, which shaped the identity of the people, which then systematically created an inequality which resulted in politics and economic stances to be resonating with one group and away from the others. These problems made it difficult for people living in these countries, so all they could do is immigrate to more forgiving country. These all relate to the broader idea that the system in which countries run on is the system, and it makes been happening for centuries.